Man, I am so glad that Spider Man Brand New Day was just a Spider Man film with Spider Man problems, with Spider Man villains, and that it was not at all used to shoehorn in a different MCU project simply because the guy in charge knew it would be successful. What's that noise? Anyone hear that? This is your first and only warning that this video will contain spoilers for the movie, so if you haven't seen it yet, then please click away and save this video for another time. Or don't. I really don't care. In case you couldn't tell, I went to go see Spider-Man Brand New Day with the rest of my family, and we all had a great time. The movie was incredible. I loved it. I thought it was one of the best Spider-Man movies I have ever seen, especially from Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It was just a perfect Spider-Man movie, in my opinion. Except for a couple nitpicks. Let's start with what I liked. There were four main standouts about this movie that I absolutely loved. That being Peter's arc, the fact that it was contained to New York, all the technical stuff, and the overall story of the film. Peter's arc was incredible, and it was wonderful to see how it unfolded on the big screen. I thought it was handled very well. You know the saying, when Peter is depressed, the story is gonna be peak. Unless it's One More Day. Comic fans know what I'm talking about with that one. The way this movie dove into Peter's relationships was so well done. How desperately he held on to his relationships with Ned and MJ and how it ultimately paid off in the end. The way the police commissioner became sort of a steady rock for him, reminding him to take breaks, take care of himself, not overwork himself. His entire dynamic with the Punisher, it was all handled really well. This movie did a fantastic job showing that Peter Parker, that Spider-Man, is at his best when he has somebody to bounce off of with. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, is just so much more entertaining when he's got someone to bounce off of, and this movie showed that very well. This also ties into the whole arachnid hormone plotline. His prolonged isolation and refusal to let anyone fully in was what started his struggles with his spider side. Ultimately, it was what made him realize that his relationship with himself was what he needed to fix the most. When Peter realized the spider part of him was something that he could not lock away and that he needed to work with it and truly become the Spider-Man, chills, dude. Chills. Then we have the fact that it was contained to New York. This wasn't Spider-Man trying to prove himself to the Avengers, this wasn't him being roped into S.H.I.E.L.D. business, nor was it him facing a universal or multiversal threat. It was just Spider-Man being friendly in his neighborhood. And that's what I like to see. Then there was all the technical stuff. The color grading wasn't just a boring millennial gray throughout the whole film. The gray was used when Peter was in an emotionally gray spot. There was actually a little bit of symbolism there with the color grading. The lighting? Equally fantastic, because it actually let parts of the characters' faces be in shadow when they should be. Seriously, that is such a major pet peeve of mine with the way so many movies are made today. Why is your face perfectly lit from all angles when you are outside? There is only one source of light, and it's the sun, and it's only coming from one angle. Seriously, just let characters' faces be in the dark. Does acting also count as technical? I'm gonna say yes, because that was also a major part of the movie that I very much enjoyed. Finally, we have, for the most part, the overall story. It was very well written, there was a lot of heart put into it, and it was just fun. However, this is also where those nitpicks I mentioned earlier come in. Let's start with the smaller nitpick, being Banner's inhibitor. It completely disregards the point of Smart Hulk. Banner and Hulk had finally come to a true understanding, and the inhibitor just tosses that aside. It feels like it was only in the film to give Peter the idea for his own inhibitor. A literal plot device is all it really was. I know it was introduced in She-Hulk, so it was probably explained why it needed to exist there, but I didn't watch that show. Because I'm not a masochist. You know who is a masochist, though? Jean Grey, apparently. Her character was assassinated, butchered, cooked, and force-fed to us by Kevin Feige. Instead of making Jean into a good person who wants to learn to use her powers to help people, Feige chose to make her a terrorist and a murderer who uses her powers for her own personal gain and enjoyment. And to make matters worse, it's very clear that the only reason she was included in this movie is because Feige knew it would be a guaranteed success and saw that as an opportunity to try and get people excited for his version of the X-Men. None of this is hyperbole either. There is legit a scene where she takes mental control of an old man, makes him walk out into traffic, and then he gets hit by a speeding taxi. Yeah, that guy is dead. Jean murdered a guy. And for what? Shock value? I don't know. It was also revealed that when she takes control of someone like that, they lose all autonomy and consciousness. 1 minute they're in the living room, next minute they're on the street with no memory of what happened in between. Are we not seeing how evil that is? And she has no problems with using this power constantly, and she never takes accountability for any of her actions. Honestly, Feige, am I meant to feel bad for this girl? Oh, wait, her sister was kidnapped by damage control and she just wants her back. That excuses everything. Except it doesn't, because Jean's sister was the one who taught her how to take control of people and encouraged her to use that power for fun. I don't feel bad for the sister either. The writing behind Jean Grey in this movie is so disingenuous, and it is an insult to my intelligence. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Okay, tirade over. What are my final thoughts on Spider-Man Brand New Day? It was near perfect in my eyes. Although, had someone who actually understood and cared about Jean Grey's character been in charge, it would have been all the way perfect, but alas. This movie was amazing, spectacular, ultimate, wait, no, that one is technically Nightcrawler, who will probably also have his character assassinated. Sorry in advance, Kurt. When I was younger, I never really understood why Sony didn't just give Spider-Man over to Marvel completely. And now that I'm a little older, I hope they never do. It seems like Sony genuinely knows what they're doing with Spider-Man, and they genuinely care about representing him in such a way that it shows who he is at his core. Sony does not mess around when it comes to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's villains, on the other hand, what are you talking about? Those movies were great! You actually think those movies are good? Don't you like the Venom trilogy? Yeah. That doesn't make them good movies, though. Thank you so much for sticking around towards the end of the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you at all got spoiled during this review, I warned you. And I told you to save this video for another time. Chaos out.